Hey guys. So if you've taken a look at the homework for this week, you've noticed that on question 3, we are going to ask you guys to estimate a regression or a model using Stata, which is the standard statistical software that we use here at BYU. Dr. Ransom asked me to dedicate one of my TA hours this week to just teaching you guys how to use Stata, but I was a little worried that like maybe some people wouldn't be able to come to it, or I wouldn't be able to find a time when that would work for everybody. So I just wanted to try and make a short video explaining to you guys how to get Stata up and running and how to do this one, number 3. Hopefully this is helpful. It should be super quick, but if you've got a good grasp on Stata yourself, if you used it before, by all means, feel free to skip this video. So in order to get to Stata on your computer, unless you have it installed, which is probably unlikely, you want to go to BYU Cloud Apps. So Stata uses a lot of processing power, especially when using a lot of observations and variables. So one of the nice things that BYU does is it lets you run Stata on their servers remotely. So you want to just Google BYU Cloud Apps, log in with your BYU ID, and then you'll go to All Apps, scroll down until you get to Stata. And it should look something like well, ideally it will look not like this because your internet will be faster than mine. Okay, it'll look something like this. You'll probably get a bunch of dialog boxes. You might have some things pop up asking you to update. Just exit out of those. So this is pretty standard. This is what Stata looks like. And we're just going to highlight a few things you can do in it in the next like 10 minutes. So this box over on the right, this is going to summarize all of the variables that you have entered into Stata. As you notice, it doesn't have any variables yet because we haven't told it what the variables are. This box down here is where we type in all our commands. And then this box up here is where all our results will come out. So we can type in stuff down here like regress yield on fertilizer if pesticide equals 1, and our results will pop up here. Obviously, we haven't told Stata what yield, fertilizer, or pesticide are, so we can't even get any results right now. But if we had those variables in it, then we would get some results up here, and over here we'll have a log of everything that we've done so far. Okay, so step 1 to using Stata is to start a log. So you want to come to File, Log, Begin Log. And then you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name this Homework for 4-3. Okay, all that's going to do is that is going to keep track of everything that you do and put it up in some nice results that you can then access later. Okay, so that's kind of an optional step that I like to do to start off any homework assignment, just so I don't lose any of my results. The second thing that we need to do, like we saw when we tried to regress, is we need to add some variables. So there's kind of 3 main ways you can do this. One is to just generate a variable. So we can just generate a variable called plot. We can set it equal to whatever we want. I'm going to set it equal to 0. And now we have a plot named 0, or a variable named plot, and it doesn't have any observations because we didn't have any observations to start with. But if it did, those would all be set to 0. But we can add some if we want. We can add them in like that. So that is one way to add variables to Stata. As you can see, this would take a long time to add a lot of different variables. You know, if we wanted to add them all in manually, it would take forever. We could also do it directly from this data editor. So I'll show you how to get back to this. It's this button right here. We can add them in directly from this data editor by typing in what we want, yield, specifying what we want it to be. We'll keep it as a float, fill with missing data. Okay. Again, this would take forever to add in. If we had, let's say, like 50 variables or something, this would take a long time to go in and manually add them all. So that's not the best way to do it. Another way that you can add in variables that we'll probably do for future homeworks when you have more data is to upload a file. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this button up here to upload a file that you'll get from Learning Suite into BYU's cloud. You can put it wherever you want. I'll just put it on the desktop like that. And then it's as easy as just, well, once it uploads, it's as easy as just opening that file. And boom, we've got a bunch of data. As you can see, we added a bunch of variables and like 20,000 observations, just like that. So that's what we'll do for a lot of future assignments. But that's not what we'll do for this assignment. Probably the easiest way to do this assignment is to just copy and paste them in. So if you have your data up here, you can put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Like this. And then once we go back to data editor, we'll just be able to copy and paste this, just like we would on a normal Excel document. We'll have to tell it what these variables are called. Plot, yield. I think it's fertilizer first. Yep. And pesticide. Okay, and then we'll just paste them in. It will give you a warning usually the first time, but the second time it will let you just put your variables in. Great. And if we go back to our main screen, we can see that we have our variables, so they are in it, and we're ready for regressions. So that's the hardest part, to be honest, of this assignment is going to be getting your variables into Stata, because as soon as they're in, regressing them or estimating the model is as easy as doing regress or reg, yield, and then that is our dependent variable, whatever variable we put first, and then all we have to do after that is type in whatever we want for our independent variables, regress, yield, fertilizer, pesticide, and it does the regression for us. Here's our coefficients right here. Here is our constant. It gives us p-values, it gives us t-values, it gives us an r-squared up here, and it's way faster than doing it by hand like you guys did in the last assignment. And just like that, you're done. You can then close your log, which ends the kind of keeping track of things. And if you open your log in Stata, you'll see a summary of everything you did. You can screenshot this or take this and put it directly into your homework assignment or your PDF with your other problems. And it's a lot easier than calculated by hand. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this is going to get rid of a lot of technical errors, because I know that Stata, when you open it up and you just get to this screen with a bunch of numbers and a bunch of things everywhere, it can be overwhelming. So feel free to rewatch this video or to email if you have any questions. But this is how to do basic Stata things.